Just wanna give you my best. I don't even know your name, but you got me. 'Cause you're all to die. We don't know what happens next, but you got me. 'Cause I'm next to none. You make it look so easy, making me feel so dreamy. Never wanna pay for drinks, but you got me. 'Cause you're all to die. Got me locked in now. Go ahead and take a shot. Do you really want me? Maybe you're just playing. The way you're making it move, yeah, you do it so smooth. Make it all about you. Can have it all if you want. Taking the chance, stuck in my head. Not gonna leave it at that. Taking the lead, feeling your heat. Just wanna give you my best. Taking the chance, stuck in my head. Not gonna.
Hello, welcome to the Matter Behind Relationships. This is Gaylon McDowell, and this podcast serves one sole purpose, and that is to help you understand how you can apply metaphysical principles, spiritual and mental principles to create a better life in your relationships. And this is important because as we work with ourselves, it's necessary to recognize how we create and attract experiences into our lives. So today, my topic is I meet no one but me. I meet no one but me. Today, I'm going to ask the CEO and founder of the 5S of Love to come on the show again so we can have some conversation. Sometimes she'll be on the show. Sometimes it'll be other guests. Sometimes it'll just be me talking about metaphysics and how you can create a better life. But today, I want to bring her back on because she has some questions, because she always does, around how to apply metaphysics to very specific things. So what I want to do today is answer those questions so we can lay a foundation for the shows that are coming behind this one. So Christine, are you there?
Hey, Gaylon, how are you?
I'm excellent. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. And I'm going to say I'm really excited about your platform. I watch them over and over again. And just to let you know, I've gotten several calls that people are watching you over and over again. They love your lessons. They love your feedback. And that's men and women. And so they're getting a lot from this. And I think it's great. I think that was the goal. And I'm really hoping that a lot of relationships, personal and professional, really get what you're giving them, and that we can spread like a lot of positivity. I think positive energy is so important in any type of relationship, and a fair exchange of concepts and ideas within that space. So thank you so much for being a part of the brand. I absolutely love it. I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to learn something today. So do you mind if I start? Okay, can I start with the first question?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you right now, I need to know, what does it mean, met no one but me? Like, right. What does that mean?
So, met no one but me, or I meet no one but me.
Okay.
Basically just means that I never meet life as it is. I meet life where I am. What it means is I see life through my own paradigm. We all see our lives through our own context. And what that means in real time is this. When we were growing up, I'm sure you heard the term, that person's looking through rose-colored glasses.
Yes.
Well, I believe that we all have rose-colored glasses, and the rose-colored glasses that we all see through are our own beliefs, whether conscious or unconscious. But here's the thing. Some psychologists say that maybe up to 90% of beliefs are unconscious. Therefore, the mental patterns that are actually determining what we think, what we feel, how we behave, what we say, how we interact with other individuals, how we treat ourselves, the inner conversations that are going on in our minds are based upon beliefs that we aren't even totally aware of. It's sort of like an iceberg. You know, if you could just imagine a boat going, you know, in the Arctic Sea, and they see a little bit of ice poking out of the water. Oh, it's no big deal. But underneath the surface of the water is this gigantic piece of the iceberg, maybe 50 times bigger than what's exposed above the water. Now, I just want you to use this analogy with your mind. If the surface of the water is your level of awareness, what's above the water, you're consciously aware of. What's below the water is unconscious. All right. Now, it's not what's above the water that will sink your ship. It is what's below the water
that will sink it.
Your ship. And it's the unconscious beliefs. It's the self-sabotage. It's the attitudes and behaviors and perceptions that either create or destroy relationships, whether that's intimate, family, business, it doesn't matter. We have to be mindful that the less conscious we are, the more likely our unconscious beliefs will interfere with our lives.
Oh my gosh. So what you're saying is, it's like when you have a conversation and a person allows their perspective to be guided by what they've been thinking about subconsciously to interpret their understanding of it. So here's an example. A friend of mine, I said to them, oh, this person has done multiple things in a relationship with these type of people, with these type of women, and that person's never committed. They translated that to, I said that they weren't good enough for that person. No, I was just giving you examples that you're not the only vice president or executive type of woman, high profile woman that he's dated, and he didn't commit to them. So I just wanted to say that this person has an issue with commitment. I wasn't saying you weren't good enough. I wasn't comparing you. But I think subconsciously they just heard what they wanted to hear, and it came out that I said that they weren't good enough. I was like, no, it was the opposite.
Well, yeah, and I would also add, and I don't know this person, so I'm not saying this is gospel. But if I was to talk to the person and start to ask some introspective questions, I think it's possible that some unconscious insecurity and maybe some very conscious insecurity is driving some of that behavior. Because here's the thing. There's nothing like somebody keeping you on your toes and you don't know what's coming next. And you know, this psychologist, I don't know if he's still practicing, years ago, I can't remember his name now, Willard Harley, something like that. But he used to say that one of the main things that all women need specifically is a sense of security. And that's true. And when the sense of security isn't there, it creates other problems. But here's the thing, it doesn't just create problems in the relationship, it creates problems overall, because life is more holographic. And what I mean by that is everything affects everything. So when your relationship is not the way you want it to be, can it affect your job? Yes. Can it affect your money? Yes. Can it affect your family relationships? Yes. Can it affect your friendships? Yes. All of the above, because it doesn't stay in its own compartment, because we're integrated beings.
Okay.
We're spirit, soul, body. That by itself. Spirit,
Mhm.
the divine essence, the divine spark, the image likeness of God, as the
Right.
Bible would say. I would say individualized expression of the one presence, one power, one mind, one intelligence, one substance that we call God, divine mind, whatever term you want to use, or invisible energy intelligence, which is kind of my go-to move when it comes to explaining that. But we're also soul or mental beings, consciousness, awareness of being. And in that consciousness, we have, again, aspects of us that we're very conscious of and aspects that we're not. The challenge is that which is in our soul projects into our life, world, and affairs. And that's where the challenge comes into play. Because as your friend, you said, well, she didn't hear what I was saying. She couldn't hear what you're saying, because here's the thing. No one ever hears what you're saying. They only hear what they can hear.
I mean, that's funny. He's like, no one hears what you're saying. People,
And
are you listening? No one is really hearing what you're saying.
you know, even somebody is, let's take religion out of
Yes.
it. But let's
Right.
just take it from, let's take a person like Jesus outside
No.
of the context of religion.
Okay.
This person walking around healing folks, blessing
Right.
folks, feeding multitudes, all this type of stuff as attributed.
Mhm.
And he would say to people, those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Why do you think he would say something like that?
Yeah, why would he say something like that?
Because hearing is not just an aspect of audible vibration.
Okay.
Hearing is an aspect of understanding.
Say that again.
Okay. Hearing is not just an aspect of audible vibration. Hearing is an aspect of understanding.
Okay, folks, I need you to stay right there because we're going to commercial break. I need you to digest that, because I am. Because again, I don't know if you're hearing what I'm saying right now, but we're going to commercial break and we'll be right back so we can hear more from Gaylon on how I meet no one but me. This is so interesting. I'm loving this.
But what's standing in our way? He doesn't mind at all. He want my juice like that. He does whatever what it feels for nobody but himself. No, yeah. He doesn't mind at all. He want my juice like that. He does whatever what it feels for nobody but himself. No, yeah. So I pull myself together. I give myself the pressure. I don't know what to do with this. Should I let him go? Oh, go. I don't know what to do with this. Should I let him go? Oh, go. I fall for his eyes when he's staring into mine. Know he's bad for me. So what's standing in our way? And he's out of my league. I feel insecure, but I hope this is real, yeah. He doesn't mind at all. He want my juice like that. He does whatever what he feels for nobody but himself, no, yeah.
Okay, guys, we are back. Listen, I was just thinking of during the commercial break, Gaylon, I was thinking about what you were saying. So when you say to someone, people are not hearing what you're saying, and you reference a statement from the Bible, can you repeat that so people understand the correlation? If you're just tuning in right now, Gaylon was talking about when you're speaking, people really are not hearing you. And he referenced, a scripture from the Bible. And again, we're not, doing a thing. I know people say, well, this is not a religious platform, but it is and it isn't, because we're about faith. But we want you to understand the connotation and how you need to relate this to everyday living. So, Gaylon, can you go over that one more time? Where people just viewed in, they just start watching the podcast.
Obviously rewind and watch the rest of it. But
Exactly.
but
Rewind.
it's
And by the way, be sure to share and like and follow us when you are watching the show and you like it. Do that for us. Okay, go ahead, Gaylon.
yes. So let me add to that.
Okay.
Because I have so many different things that I do that's online. I want to make sure that we get this message out. I'm a big believer that this particular message, the metaphysics behind life change and relationships, matters. And because of that, I need your help. For those who follow me and those who are just hearing me, if you believe that this message has value, share it on your platforms, put it on your social media, like the post on Facebook, like the post on YouTube. Let's make sure that we're allowing the message to be presented. I'm not asking you to convince, convert, or coerce anybody into following me on this podcast. All I'm asking you to do is give me the opportunity to present it. All right. And we'll trust that the divine intelligence that is within them will guide them into what they need to do with the information. If it's for them, they will do something with it. If it's not, they won't. If it's a seed that will give growth to something later, then that's the part of the process too. My job is just to give the seeds. I don't give the growth. All right. So if I give you good seed, do something with it. But more importantly, let's make sure that we share it. So we're not just getting it for ourselves, because sometimes when people get this type of message, they say, I'm gonna get it for myself. But what other people do is on them. No, let's show up as love. Let's show up as grace and spread the word. Now, as far as what I was saying before, I was quoting Jesus. Again, not getting into the dynamic of religion because I am a minister. So my context I will bring up religious terms. He would say to people, for those who have ears to hear, let them hear. And I think this is important, because when you start talking about I meet no one but me, he was trying to help people understand that, yes, I'm talking. Yes, I'm giving truth through the vehicle of my words. But are you really hearing what I'm saying? Is it landing beyond mental vibration? Yes, we're speaking the same language. Okay. You can speak the same language and not function from the same level of consciousness.
Wow.
Two totally different things. All right. Wow. This is why my favorite quote of all time, of all life, is, and this is the short version. It's a longer version, but I don't have it in front of me right now. I just use the short version. There is no such thing as undemonstrated understanding. That's from Emmett Fox. And what he's saying is that what you understand demonstrates itself. You don't have to argue with people about your understanding. It demonstrates. So,
wow.
So when people are talking about, I understand you. Okay, how is that understanding demonstrating itself?
Right.
Because either you understand it and choose not to do something, or you really don't understand it, even though we're speaking literally the same language. Just because I speak English and you speak English does not mean you understand what I'm saying.
Same. And you know what? So that leads into our next thing, where I was saying to you, can you explain the statement? I don't see life as it is. I see life as I am.
Yes, because we're all, again, threefold beings: spirit, soul, body, at the soul level, consciousness level, awareness level. I see it, life, as we always see through our paradigm.
Okay.
A paradigm is a collection of beliefs. We all see through our context. And a paradigm is very absolute. In other words, we think life is the way it is instead of how we perceive it. So my perception of what I am dealing with is totally based on my own inner beliefs, my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own memories, and most importantly, the meaning I give to things, which is based upon my own stories. We all have stories that we tell ourselves that are really inconsistent with what's really happening. But we will have the emotional responses and the energetic responses that will show up as behavior, words, and actions that are consistent with what's going on in you, not necessarily what's consistent with what's happening in the environment. That's why I meet no one but me. I don't see life as it is. I see life as I am. And I can only ever see life as I am. So part of spiritual growth, from my perspective, is to get to the space and place to where you have a level of non-resistance to life, to where you can see life as it's showing up and recognize, even if what's in front of you is considered problematic, what I would call a growth opportunity,
Right.
still recognizing that what's in the way is the way. In other
Okay.
words, what's in the way is my growth opportunity. What's in the way is my soul lesson. What's in the way is my opportunity to develop my understanding, because I teach my students, I teach my clients that understanding determines if something is a problem or not.
Okay, so you know what? So to me, we hear a lot of other statements and concepts. This sounds like a lot like imposter syndrome. When
Well,
people they give a false perception and then they start to believe the perception of who they are, and then they present it in such a way that it becomes a conflict, with who they truly are. I mean,
well,
is that the same? Am I miscorrelating them?
it's not totally the same thing. I think what you're saying
Yeah,
is that, let me just deal it directly with what you're saying, okay,
yeah.
with the imposter syndrome, instead of trying to explain. This is what I meant, because I'm gonna let my words stand on their own, and I'll let you understand up to it.
Yes. I like that. I like that. Because I know some people were probably thinking what I was thinking.
Yeah,
This sounds like similar to imposter syndrome. So
right.
go ahead.
So from a standpoint of imposter syndrome, it's based
Mhm.
upon creating a false personality that has no substance, no foundation, no stability.
Mhm.
So it's hard for me not to use my religious context. So one more, and then we'll keep it to
That's
relationships.
Go ahead.
But this is too important to miss.
Yeah.
Um, a statement by Jesus: "He who hears my words is like a man who built his house on a rock." He said the winds blew. The winds blew, the floods came, and the rain fell and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it was built on the rock. He says, but he who
Right.
hears my words and does not believe them is like a man who built his house on sand. The winds blew, the floods came, the rains fell, and the house fell, and great was its fall. Now, let's pull this in the context of relationships, dealing with
Okay.
people, dealing with your own life.
Hmm.
All right. When you build a personality based upon the truth of your own authentic self,
Right.
okay, not this false persona that people put on social media, that they presented jobs, etc. Like, I got all my stuff together and it's completely raggedy on the inside. Raggedy's my go-to word, by the way.
Yeah.
I use raggedy a lot. My wife's like,
I
you
like
always
it.
call things raggedy. I was like, raggedy.
I
And
like it.
people
I might
understand
have to
raggedy.
steal that, Galen. I might have to steal your raggedy. I
Yeah,
like that.
but but here's the thing. So when people are not building something on their authentic self, on their
Mhm.
authentic power, on their authentic grace, on their authentic peace, on their authentic talents, gifts and abilities, when they don't do that, they create situations and circumstances where, when life shows up,
Mhm.
and hear me when I say this, audience, life always shows up as growth opportunities, i.e., the floods came, the rain fell, the winds blew.
Mhm.
He didn't say if the winds will blow. He didn't say if the floods will come. He didn't say if the rains will fall. So in your relationships, whether it's in your marriage or your
Mhm.
dating situation, if it's in your work relationships, whether it's with your family situations, you're going to bump into conflict situations. Now, here's the key, because I meet no one but me. Who is the you that's going to encounter and engage and work through those conflicts? The authentic, powerful, intuitively led individual, or the person that's caught up in your emotional stories that you made up about the situation?
I love that. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not even going to commercial break because I feel like I'm feeling this right now. Because the next question to me kind of lends to what you were saying. If you're living in a false world, and presenting that on a regular basis and not living within your reality, then now you got to think about the law of attraction brings people like you into like energy. So if you're presenting and projecting something that you're not, then that's what you're going to attract instead of the real powerful you that you are in your own likeness. Like, so can you explain that? Because women always say this, and they ask you this question all the time, Gaylon. You just don't hear it because you're not in our conversations. But they're like, Gaylon needs to tell us, what do we need to project in order to attract the right man? Women say that a lot. And the other thing is, men say the same thing to me. My male friends are saying it, the females are saying it, because I think everybody's in a certain state. But like you said, with social media, you're projecting one image, and when people meet you, you're not that image. You're not that person. And so you're not going to get the authentic you in a relationship with a person that matches you, because you're sending out the wrong. So explain that, because honestly, that might be helpful for me too. We already know my list of issues, but
Well, a lot of questions wrapped up. I'm gonna see if I can answer them all in one answer.
Awesome.
So with the law of attraction, first of all, just getting clear about that, because with The Secret and all the other things, it kind of took a life of its own.
Yeah.
I think law of attraction is one of the ways in which people try to explain how consciousness works. When I say consciousness, awareness of being, how universal principles work. And like the four blind men looking at the elephant.
Yes.
It feels like the trunk feels like this, the legs feel like this, the side feels like this, the tail feels like this. So human beings are always trying to figure out a way to explain something that's fundamental. All right. So first thing, law of attraction. I like to use a term that's kind of an old school term that was taught in the New Thought movement, which I am a minister in. And it was thoughts held in mind, produce after their own kind.
Did you say that again?
Thoughts held in mind, produce after their own kind. It's called the law of mind action, like mind hyphen action. And what this is saying is simply this. A watermelon seed can never produce tomatoes. It's a cause and effect in the universe, which I'll talk about shortly, because I do want to talk about that a little bit, but I want to stay on this attraction part. So if I am holding on to certain type of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, those are seeds in my own mind.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Now, those seeds will seek to attract experiences, situations, and conditions through universal law or law of attraction, whatever term you want to use, that correspond with those thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. What do I mean by that? So people who are peaceful people, loving people, tend to find peace and love more often than people who are frustrating their potential. Let's just put it that way. And people who are angry tend to find things that they always need to be angry about.
Yeah.
Okay. So not only does it attract experience, people, places, and things that are consistent with your vibration, high or low.
Right.
But here's the thing that most people don't talk about when they talk about things like the law of attraction and spiritual principles. It shapes your perception of life.
Wow.
Because when you think a particular kind of way, what you're actually doing is in a universe of unlimited possibilities, it actually focuses your intention and attention and interest and expectation toward life showing up a particular kind of way. And people don't like to admit it until something like, I knew this would happen. I knew I couldn't trust that person. I knew whatever, because they come from a place where deep down on the inside and a deep subconscious belief or beliefs are saying that this is too good to be true,
Right.
that they're waiting for the other shoe to fall, that life isn't supportive, that there's not enough. The not enough is always an issue because a
Mhm.
consciousness of lack shows up not just in money, but it can show up as a
A
man and a woman in your
relationship.
life.
Exactly.
It can show
Yeah.
up as a lack of opportunities in your business or your career.
Mhm.
It can show
Yeah.
up as doors not opening. But the same person, when they have a shift in perception, a shift in their paradigm, not a shift, a shattering of the old and an embracing
Right.
of the new, can create and attract experiences and people that correspond with the new belief. So Emmett Fox, I'm a large Emmett Fox fan. Emmett Fox used to say, and it's a religious term, but I want you to get what he's saying because this is powerful. He would say, Christ is Lord over karma. Now, what that meant was that your spiritual truth, when you come into a new awareness of who you are as a
Right.
powerful, authentic spiritual being,
Uh-huh.
then the person that you were previously that was attracting experiences at a lower vibration, that person no longer exists as long as you don't dip back down into those levels of awareness.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And I'm telling you, you need to work on your laws of attraction. Christine is going to attract a whole bunch of positive energy. I don't even believe in lack. I think my life is just full of
All
joy,
right.
love, excitement, money, opportunities, all of it. Okay. I always think big. So I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
All right.
Hey guys, we are back, and I told you a quick commercial break. I made sure that one was quick. So, you know what, Galen, that law of attraction, people really don't understand how serious it is. And I'll just give you guys just a quick example. uh, over the past couple of days, when you run different companies and you do a lot of work, a lot of things come in front of you, right? And so I was feeling really kind of weirded out for a couple minutes, okay, an entire day about a situation. But what showed up was people were just texting me and calling me who I had never spoken to about my platform and was saying so many positive things like, Christine, the platform is rockstar amazing. We love it. This is great. What can I do to help you? Like, it was just me. Subconsciously, I was thinking, I thought this was like a great platform. Like in myself, I was saying that. But you know what? It showed up in people who knew me from college. Like, I have not talked to you. And it showed up in people who know me locally who I didn't know was watching. So I'm going to say to you guys, sometimes you really need to stay focused and just on what it is that you attract. I could have allowed some negative energy to kind of like ball me up and throw me away and change my whole mindset and redirect me on what I wanted to do. But the law of attraction, I just kept pushing out in myself, even though I got quiet, my subconscious was like, Christine, take what you can from what was said and build on it. Like, just focus on that. Just take the positive out of what that person shared with you and push it forward. So I'm going to say it works in every aspect of my life, not just business. It just works. So again, folks, listen to what Gaylon is saying and put it to practice. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm a little bit confused about the causation. So can you explain, the causation is mental? Like, how does that work? I don't understand, because I want to make sure I'm doing all of this right, because I need to get all this together. This is my, and by January, I need a new together, all of this.
All right.
So
Well,
explain that to me.
you can have a new beginning now. How about
Because I'm raggedy. Because I'm gonna take your turn. Because I'm raggedy right now.
No, you're not raggedy. So let me stop you there for a second.
I'm not raggedy.
No. See, when people hear terms like that, they think that I'm talking about them as a being versus their stuff. You're not the content in your consciousness.
Say that again.
You're not the content in your consciousness. In other words, you're not just the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that you hold. As the woman who taught me, Johnny Coleman, who taught me, and was my spiritual mother. Mm-hmm. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that makes the thing. That was one of the things. I am the thinker that thinks the thought that makes the thing. That was one of her famous sayings. She would say it all the time. And I take that because it's important to recognize that you have experiences. You are not the experience. It's easy to say because my experiences are raggedy, I'm raggedy. No. This is why I coined the term, there's something radically right about you, because what my perspective is that let's start with what's right about you. Okay. Then we can work on the other stuff. What's right about you is spiritually, you're a perfect, whole, and complete being. All right. Now, let's work on the mental and let's work on the physical. And we work on the mental and the spiritual and the physical by directing the mind back to the wholeness that already is. See, the challenge comes into play as we seek wholeness in outer things. I mean, no one but me.
Exactly.
If I think that I'm seeking wholeness in the sexual encounters, or in the shopping, or the money, or the titles, or the prestige or fame, then obviously, again, that's building the house on sand. But when I recognize that I am pre-approved, I'm divinely pre-approved, and the more I recognize that I'm divinely pre-approved, the more I will show up and expect to be treated properly. So how do I do that? First of all, I have to treat myself properly. How I talk to myself, how I treat myself, how I handle myself. If nobody's around, still put your best clothes on and go somewhere. Even if you don't go somewhere, sit at your own dinner table and eat with your best clothes on. Put your makeup on, your best person, your shoes on, or whatever. If you want the roses, bouquet of roses, go buy yourself some roses. You want to eat in certain places, take yourself out there to eat. Never expect somebody to treat you better
than you treat yourself. Right. I see that all the time.
Right. So, but here's the thing. I meet no one but me.
I meet no one but me.
So it's important.
I get what you're saying now.
See, that was the light bulb moment.
The light bulb. I'm sorry, viewers.
It's the light bulb moment.
Oh my God, I get it. Okay, I won't spoil it for everybody else. Okay.
So what ends up happening is you teach people how to treat you, not only by how you treat yourself, but what you allow others to do and what you allow in your space.
In your space.
Okay. So, if something is inconsistent with how I move, I just leave. I don't judge the individuals, because here's what I want. I meet no one but me. I choose freedom. I like to be free to move like I want to move. What I don't like, I don't pretend to like. I just leave. But here's the thing. I want other people to have the same freedom to show up the way they want to show up. And if in their freedom, they choose not to show up in a way that's holistic to me, then I don't need to be around you. Without making you the villain. It's just, you have the freedom to show up, and energetically, you don't match with how I move.
Right.
Now, when I choose to allow you to be in my space, showing up in ways that are inconsistent with what I believe is right and holistic for me, then I am choosing all that goes along with that. And then the problem is we forget that we are consistently choosing by allowing stuff in our lives, life, world, and affairs that's energetically inconsistent. But here's the problem. If we continue to allow it, it becomes the new set point subconsciously. It's like a thermostat.
Yes.
So if the thermostat is on 72 degrees and it's hot outside and the AC is on, once it hits the thermostat gets to 73, the AC kicks on, right?
Yeah.
So once you start creating a new paradigm for how you show up in the world and how people show up to you, when you create a new set point, universal law will kick in to make sure that you don't go above or below where you are. I use this example because I think people understand this better than any other.
Yeah.
You believe you're supposed to make a certain level of money minimally. If something happens, your mind will start coming up with creative ideas. You'll start working harder. You want overtime. You get second and third job
until
you minimally get back up to where at least you believe you belong. Now, could you do those same things to triple your income? Yes, but that's not where you are subconsciously. It's not your set point.
I love this. I'm going to tell you right now, when the light bulb went off, I wanted to like share with everybody, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you one of the things that a really good friend of mine asked me, because she watched your last week's session, and she watched it a couple times, and she said, what I wanted to know was, am I attracting these guys who are not really good for me? So just to give you just a small backdrop, she's a super awesome person, but the guys who are gravitating towards her are like, they're just not together. They're the type of guys who borrowing money, asking to borrow money, don't have none, getting free opportunities and acting like, it's a Rolls Royce situation. And, it's just not good. But the thing is, when I tell you she's super, super awesome, good person, but so on the exterior, she's well put together. But to your point, I don't know if the subconscious is what's tossing out this vibe, this energy that's attracting, as the ladies calling us on the street, some busters. I mean, who sang that song? No, a scrub is a guy that they're scrubs. There we go. Toss them out.
Okay. So first of all, let me just put this out there before I answer this question. This is one of the ways in which men and women are different. In my opinion, women can get away with calling dudes less than scrubs or whatever. The moment a man says some type of derogatory term that says a woman isn't living up to standards, he's misogynistic and he's all these
that
other
is so
things.
true. So men don't take it personally, but okay.
So I'm just putting that out there because all right. Now, what she's going through is what I have in the past taught as I made up a term because I didn't have a term for it.
Right.
I call it the Job syndrome. In the Bible, Job is considered a super righteous person who had all this stuff go wrong.
All of it.
But if you read the text, it's one line that tells you what the whole book is about.
Right.
He said, what I have feared most has come upon me.
You're right.
Now, so to quote old, I want to call him a friend, but I would say colleague. I did meet him and know him and have dinner with him or whatever. But he was like a sister to Reverend Coleman, Reverend Ike. He would say, some people are morally right and mentally wicked. And what that meant was that you can be a person that's morally together, you do the right things, you show up the right way and whatever. But here's the question. What's driving that morality? Is it fear? There's a sense of not being welcome. Are you overcompensating for something you feel as though is not there? You might have been taught that as a child. Most of the stuff is childhood behavior, by the way. Perceptions that people are living into as an adult. An 8-year-old is determining what a 40-year-old is doing. But so
that's another show, y'all. That's a whole other show. Let me write that down.
But from the standpoint of the Job syndrome,
right?
It's easy to say, I got all this stuff going on. What's going on? Well, some people are fix-it people. That's one. They love a good repair project, including with people. I bump into this a lot with women dealing with God.
Okay.
In the course of years of being a minister and teaching classes and counseling people, counseling a lot of people. This tends to be an
Mhm.
issue. Let me go find some know nothing person, know nothing dude, and let me see if I can shape them up and love them up to standard.
Mhm.
Here's the thing: it's still a violation of freedom, because there's a difference between seeing potential
Right.
and trying to repair a person.
Right.
Okay, now the question is this, and this is a question
Mhm.
because I meet no one but me. How did I create this person in my life? So what is it in me
Mhm.
that corresponds and or complements that which I consider below me? It's just a question,
It's
because
a
it's not for me
question.
to answer. But out of all of these people, vibrationally, this is the person that you attracted yourself into. This is the person you attracted into your bed. This is the person who is can't keep a steady job, can't show responsibility, can't show any ambition, can't is borrowing money and driving your car and bringing you drama, drama, drama. What's the payoff for you? What's the high that you get out of this? What what is it about you? Because you're the common denominator. Same dude shows up over and over again.
Right.
Okay. The common denominator is you, meaning your own belief system, your own ways of being, your own ways to see it. So I'm of the perspective that whether women or men, but we're talking about your friend, and I'm not whoever you are. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your circumstance that was
Stands
brought to
right.
me. Let me be clear. I don't know you. I'm not judging you. I'm giving a perspective.
Right.
But my perspective would be, okay, let's drill down onto how you created this, because did you draw this person out of fear or did you draw this person out of love? Now, I would say you drew them out of fear. Fear mixed with, as Johnny Gill would say, they can rub you the right way. Now you're in a situation or circumstance where you got somebody in your life that's not necessarily holistic,
Right.
but they're a vibrational match.
Right.
And why are they a vibrational match? Because they're there.
Because
What's
they're
in the
there.
way is the way. I meet no one but me. So here's the thing.
Oh
Iyanla
wow.
Von Zant used to say, some people come in your life for a reason,
Right.
some for a season, and some for a lifetime. Some people are making lifetime people out of reason people.
The reasons people are turning into lifetimes.
Okay, and then season people
Why?
into lifetime people. And what that means is whether it's intimate
Right.
relationships or other relationships, the key is this: every relationship gives me an opportunity to learn something about myself. And if I think that the
Amen.
relationship is not giving me an opportunity to learn something about myself, to develop something within myself, to release other aspects of myself, then I'm missing the point of relationships. Because it's because I meet no one but me. I'm always my own experience. So the person
Say,
who was talking
say
about
that
me,
again. You
you're,
are what?
you're always your own experience.
So
So
you're meeting yourself, people.
yes,
That's what the whole thing was. That's what my revelation was. You're attracting a part of yourself. That's why you
correct.
keep meeting no one but you.
Right. So Great Time Johnson, it's a book that's out of print now. He wrote a book called You Always Your Own Experience. I used to talk to him. I used to beg this guy to keep the
Mhm.
book in print. He was a science of mind minister, and under the philosophy, New Thought philosophy of Ernest Holmes. And he would say to people, the person you walk down the aisle with and marry is is the law of mind meeting you at the level of your awareness. I'm paraphrasing, at your level of
Right.
awareness. So you're meeting you. You're always meeting you. And
Always
here's
meeting
the
you.
thing, under the disguise of someone else.
Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to commercial break. But if you are meeting yourself disguised as someone else and complaining about why am I meeting a certain type of person, You better pay attention to this last segment. It's going to tell you how to apply this to your life and the things you need to do to make positive change. We'll be right back after these commercials.
I gotta tell you something I could do. I could be running around chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door.
Show me love, put your body on top of mine and hold me like you'll never let me go. It feels like I've been giving you the best of me and you just keep on letting me down. I can't taste it with your lips on mine that you don't love me like you did that night. I'm so nervous that you'll never feel the same and you'll never find a place in my arms. Hey, show me love, 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 show me love. I'm not asking you for much, just give me something to feel. Show me love, show me love, show me love.
Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you, although we're a commercial break, I was really thinking about what am I projecting and attracting? Am I really meeting myself? I'm going to say if I do, I'm pretty hot though. All right. So people, how do you apply this methodology to a relationship? So how do you do that?
Well, to quote Gary Zukav, I'm a big fan of, big fan of Gary Zukav. He wrote, "I am responsible for the choices I make and the consequences they create." So that's the first step. I am responsible for the choices I make and the consequences they create.
Okay.
All right. So what is that saying?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of blame and projection, which is what we do subconsciously, I am responsible for my choices. Now hear this. No choice is a choice. When I don't decide anything, I'm still making a choice. So when I allow things to happen unaddressed, that's still my choice. When I don't do something, when I know I'm supposed to be doing something, that's a choice. Right. When I don't leave, when I'm supposed to leave, that's a choice. When when I don't pay attention to the red flags and I stay, when I don't pay attention to my intuition, my gut feeling, and I stay engaged with situations and people that I have no business doing, then that is a choice. And I'm not saying this to victim shame anybody, because I recognize some people are stuck in their paradigm.
Yeah.
So for them, they don't see a world outside of it, and they don't see how individual choices got them in this matrix of drama and trauma. They feel as though their lives are tied up in a knot, but they don't realize, I got to be me. People get upset and they were like, how did I get my life so tied up in a knot? And I just have to tell people, you brought the rope to the experience.
Say it again.
You brought the rope to your experience.
I love it. I'm watching this again myself, and folks, listen, please leave comments. We want to hear from you. Leave comments. We're definitely going to get back to you and respond to you. Please leave comments on this. On everything that he said, just leave us some comments. That, what you just said, was magic. You brought the rope to the experience.
Yeah, you brought the rope. And here's the thing. Until people want to take responsibility for their lives, now here's the thing. even if you unconsciously got yourself in a situation, you have to consciously get yourself out of it, or you have to consciously transform it. Everything is not about leaving, especially, people, this is a relationship thing. So people are
Right.
married, they're in long-term
Right.
relationships. So the question is, what I would tell people, how do you apply this in relationships? First thing is this: you have to be very consciously aware of yourself. Okay, so I am responsible for the choices I make and the consequences they create.
Right.
And that might be something you're saying to yourself like 21 days, just over and over again as a mantra. Me, I would do something like this. I would put it up as a reminder on my phone. So it just pops up a certain amount of times a day.
Right.
Just as a reminder, stop and affirm this. Go to the bathroom, look at yourself in your own brown eyes. I'm a big believer in mirror exercises because it makes you confront. And I'm a big believer in speaking it, not just thinking it.
Thinking
Because
it.
you need to hear yourself saying it. I am responsible for the choices I make and the consequences they create, even when I don't like the consequences, even when
Right.
because here's the thing: when you believe that other people have power over you, then you give yourself the excuse not to change things that need to
There
be
you go.
changed. So even if you're in a situation that you don't like or whatever, you have to be honest enough to be able to say, I walked into this and I have to choose to walk out of it. I created this and I have to choose to either transform it, recreate it, or leave
Right.
it. All right.
Right.
But when we start saying, well, my parents did this. Okay, your parents might have did this. Look, I understand that situation. My parents divorced when I was 1. Okay. I went back and forth with them year after year until I was 7.
Right.
My daddy was out in that life. So I understand that, that situation and that circle. And I'm not knocking or judging it when I say that.
Right.
I'm just saying it from the perspective of we all got backstories. Okay. So your backstory could create a victim, or your backstory can create a hero. And you have to be your own hero. Every good hero has a painful backstory. Batman, parents died. Superman, planet blown up. Spider-Man, Uncle Ben told him, with great power comes great responsibility. That's what drives him as a superhero. You have to be your own hero. And how you become your own hero is to, first of all, take responsibility for where you are, take responsibility for the choices or the lack of choices that created consequences. Okay. And once you get back into your power and recognize, I have the power to change this, you might have to say this to yourself 100 times a day. I have the power to change this. Okay. Then you get to the space. I tell people, look in the mirror and say something like this. People love these type of things. So I just make affirmations off the top of my head. I choose peace, joy, and harmony for my life.
Say that again.
I choose peace. So I would say it this way. I choose peace, put a comma there, punctuation mark, joy, comma, punctuation mark, and harmony for my life. Or you can say for my life now, depending on how it works. But I choose peace, joy, and harmony for my life. Just say it in the mirror. 20 every morning, every evening, 21 days. What are you doing?
You know what? I think people need to understand the reason why you say to look in the mirror is because you need to look at yourself.
Yes.
When you're saying it. And so people, honestly, when you're not looking at yourself, sometimes you're lacking the need to convince yourself that this is what I'm going to do. And I say that because a lot of people don't understand. Like I have my I am statements and we talk about this. Everything that you say to me, I take those quotes and I put them around my mirror. I don't think that I'm going to remember them all. You have a great memory. So you remember quotes from 20 years ago. That's not me. If you're a me out there, get your sticky notes up and put it on your mirror so you can read them while you're looking at yourself. And one of my statements that I always say to myself is that I am an exquisite person and uniquely me and amazing at what I do. And I have all these other statements, but I always say that. And I always finish with, you are beautiful. I tell myself that before anyone else tells me that I am beautiful. And I think those are the things that you all need to understand. Everything Gaylon has been sharing with us, and Gaylon's getting ready to give you all your last tips. So I say, get in where you can fit in right now. If you didn't have your notebook, y'all know to get your notebook ready. When you come on Wednesdays, you got to get your notebook. You can rewind this, replay it 10 times. Gaylon's getting ready, and he's already giving you 2. Now you got your 21 days, and he's going to repeat what you're supposed to be doing for 21 days. Pay attention. I wish I could edit this while we're talking and throw out a thing that says pay attention while we're doing this. I need that with you, Gaylon. So I'm going to remove this. So Gaylon, tell people what they should be doing for the next 21 days until they see you next week and you give them something else to do. But for the next 21 days, what do you need them to do so they can understand how they can change, how they meet no one but them? And that statement was, meet no one.
I meet no one but me.
I meet no one but me.
Yeah.
Because you keep beating yourself on the street. Something's going on.
Another way of saying it is you're always your own experience.
I like that. I meet no one but me.
All right. I don't want to. Well, let me just say that was a Reverend Ike statement that I got from him when I heard it,
I like
5 years ago, 30 years. It was somewhere in the 90s, in the late 90s. And I heard him say it, and I said, "Oh my God, that is," and it paused me. And I made it my dedicated effort to understand what that meant. Now I'm trying to give it to you all, not at the level that I think it, but at a level that's practical and usable. Because I could go all over the place with this. Yeah. So again, first thing, 21 days. These 2 different statements. Every morning, every evening in the mirror. I am responsible for the choices I make and the consequences they create. Okay. Real simple. I've said that several times already on the show, so people should be able to get that. Yes. The second thing in the mirror that I want you to say is, I choose peace, joy, and harmony for my life. Again, I choose peace, joy, and harmony for my life. Now, why is that statement, these 2 statements important? And looking in the mirror, because this is what I haven't said so far. What I'm trying to do is help you impress the subconscious mind. Okay? So if you want to change a paradigm, you want to change a context, it can't be surface level. A lot of people get motivated in the moment. Yeah. But it's not surface. It's surface. It's not integrated into who they are. Mm-hmm. So what I'm trying to do is not just motivate you, but I want to inspire you to change your life by giving you the tools that can impress your subconscious mind. Okay, that's key. Next thing is I have a YouTube video, 2 YouTube videos I want you to check out. Okay. One of them is a seminar I did, online seminar I did in 2020. In the midst of the pandemic, I did a seminar called Developing Your Mind for Success. Developing Your Mind for Success. So if you put it Gaylon McDowell, Developing Your Mind for Success, it should show up. Guys, we're going to add these to the YouTube link and also Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Where this post, we're going to add these links to that. Okay. For those who are okay with a little bit more of a religious paradigm or context in this, I did a sermon called The Eye of the Storm, How to See God in the Experience. The Eye of the Storm, How to See God in the Experience. And I'm trying to remember, this lesson is very important to me, and I'm going to tell you why. And looking it up, and I just want to just double check something really fast because I just want to check a date on my phone. Let me see here, because I'm almost positive that when I did this lesson, my one of my first cousins was murdered the night before. Wow. And I was with my family going through the situation. My auntie's son, a person who I changed diapers, was in the wrong place, quote unquote, wrong time situation, visiting some friends, people shooting up the neighborhood type stuff, and he got shot. And I got up the next day, and without ever addressing it in the sermon, how do you see God in the experience? See, and the reason why I'm sharing this tidbit, which the people who heard the lesson did not know, is I didn't tell them because I didn't want that to be the narrative of them hearing it. But I'm sharing it because I want to explain to you is it's not what happens. It's what's happening in you. If you get that, then you'll understand what I mean when I meet no one but me. Yes, did it hurt? Yes, was it painful? Yes, was it shocking? Yes, was it devastating? Absolutely. And I meet no one but me.
I'm going to tell you, if I could probably, you and I, we could talk for hours because I just enjoy talking with you. And now I have a chance to share you with everybody, which makes me more excited. I think they're more excited than I am. So guys, listen, the Wednesday sessions, and it's a podcast, but I think it's going to be the most watched show on the platform. I really do, because people need insight on how to find their true self and to grow. And I think we're facing a lot of roadblocks. Just in this moment, I realized what you were saying and got the aha. But the thing is when you talk about the joy and the peace that you need in your life, you need to say that. Mm-hmm. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys got your 21 days. You got 2 statements. And of course, we're going to put them out there just in case you forgot them. We'll make sure we put them on all of our social media sites where this video posts so you can see it. We want to make sure that you follow up on those 2 sermons that, Gaylon is recommending that you look at outside of this. So once you look at this, we're going to provide the links for those 2, and we're going to put them in there for you because we want you guys to really work on bettering yourself. That's the point of Gaylon being here. That's the point of the platform. We want better relationships, maybe personal, professional. We want better relationships, and we want you to meet and greet people in your authentic self. It's all about being you, and I love that. Gaylon, I really love you being on the platform. I can't tell you how much I love it. And hey, guys, you're gonna start seeing his commercials for True Transform. I'm starting next week, so you can catch them twice a week on True Transform and here, so you guys can get everything that I get all the time. And I'm going to tell you, the one link that you sent me for Reverend Ike is in my downloads, and I watch it a lot, especially on a Saturday, which is kind of odd, but I do it with my Saturday walk. Because Reverend Ike is one of those ministers. He's hype. He's like listening to a rap song. He's really hype in this messaging. And you need to just focus on what he's saying, because it's like he's speaking so much truth, but he says it in a way that's just so charismatic and real, and I like that about Reverend Ike. So definitely
had dinner with him. I have to tell you offline about a dinner in Miami I had with Reverend Ike.
I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear it. So guys, I'm going to say thank you so much for joining us for this week's podcast. And Gaylon, you go ahead and take us out, and then we're just going to close out the show. This is your platform, and I want people to understand I'm just a guest, and he allows me to be a guest. So Gaylon, we'll see you next week, and thank you so much for being part of the 5S to Love Network.
Well, thank you, Christine. I appreciate it. And I just want to just leave you all with this thought, because this is important. Everything begins in the mind. If you can just capture that process, everything begins in the mind. And life is not showing up as it is. From my perspective, it's showing up as I see it. And to quote another giant in spiritual living, Eric Butterworth, he used to say, your job isn't to see it, to set it right, it's to see it right, or see it rightly. That's how he would say it. It's not your job to set it right, it's to see it rightly. Before you can set a thing right, you have to see it properly. You have to see it right. So these tools that I'm giving you, say these affirmations in the mirror, watch these videos on YouTube, or I tell you to listen to my other podcasts and things of that nature, is solely for the purpose of what I like to call immersion. The larger the issue, the more work you have to do. The larger the demonstration, the larger the transformation, the more work you have to do. So if you want to learn how to swim, you have to put your whole body in the water, not just your toe. So you can't just dibble and dabble with this type of message. What I'm trying to do is not empower you. I can't empower you. Give you the information to connect with your power. All right. The power has already been given. But here's the thing. The primary cause of suffering is forgetfulness. We've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten who we are in God and who God is in us. We've forgotten that we have agency. We've forgotten that we have choice. We've forgotten that we have power. We have forgotten that we create our own experiences. We've forgotten that we can create our own boundaries, our own healthy boundaries in our lives. we have forgotten that we can create our own bottom lines. And because we have forgotten, we suffer. We've forgotten that we have dominion over our own thoughts, over our own feelings, over our own beliefs. And how we think, how we feel, how we believe shows up in our words, our actions, and reactions. And therefore, our responsibility is to make sure that our thoughts, our feelings, our words, our actions, our reactions are being guided by the truth within ourselves, not our limited human perspectives, but that intuitive guidance that shows up when we get our ego out of the way and allow the divine guidance to show up to teach us what we need to teach. So I'm just an outer teacher. But my job is sort of like Bruce Lee. I always joke that you can always bring things back to Bruce Lee. And Enter the Dragon, he said to the young boy at the Shaolin Temple, it's like a finger pointing at the moon. If you concentrate on the finger, you miss all the heavenly glory. The finger is our religions and the philosophies and politics and gurus and teachers and ministers. They're supposed to be pointing you to something that's greater. All right. So my job is to point you back to the divine power that's already within you. And if you never heard that before, great, because let me be the person that can help you introduce yourself to the real you, not the you that likes one TV show versus another, or likes these certain attributes in a partner versus another. But I'm talking about the you that is the divine expression of life, love, wisdom, power, peace, joy, and harmony. That's the real you. So even if I've never met you, I know who you are. And I love the real you because I know who you are. And my purpose is to use my understanding of these principles to help you discover and release the divine gifts that are already within you. And in this podcast, in the context of the people that are closest to you, your relationships. So I'll be with you next week with the meta behind relationships. Take care.
My name is Christine Burkett, the inventor of the 5 F's to Love. This is a compatibility app. It's an app that gives you an opportunity to rate words that start with the letter F in chronological order of importance to you, to help you find your one true love, your soulmate, and the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So after you've taken the time to rate your F's in chronological order, you send a link to the person, you just met, or the person you've been dating for quite some time. Or maybe it's the person you've been married to for 30 to 40 to 50 years. And then you compare your top 5 F's to find out what things you have in common and things that you may perhaps need to work on. This is taking a simplistic perspective on how to find your one true love, your soulmate, the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And thank you